Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crate Expectations. I'm here with my co-host, Traitor Sarah. How are you today, Traitor Sarah? Not
Feeling
not not traitor, like
uh,
not like the Jawa dude, like
no.
like betrayer,
I'm feeling I'm feeling traitorous today.
treasonous, maybe.
How are you?
I'm feeling betrayed. Still, it's
Ah.
still just the pain, the agony is still fresh. Actually, no, you got what you deserved. It was good, but yeah, so me and Sarah actually, our guilds fought each other in territory wars this last week,
We
uh, which
did.
which also meant that my guilds fought each other this last week.
Yeah, your accounts got to fight each other. That must have been trippy.
Yeah, was it okay? It was really tough, actually. I mean, I told both sides. I was like, I can't. I'm not gonna tell you guys anything about the comps, the defensive setups and stuff. And I stayed true to my word.
Mhm.
But and everyone trusted me. It was nice. But I could have been like, how much are these droid brains worth you or worth it to you?
Oh man. You did not
Um,
though. You were good.
no, that was good. I actually for a little bit I was on the top 10 for on offense for both accounts.
Right.
So yeah, and what the traitorous part comes in when you decided to kill my Ray.
I didn't decide to kill your Ray. I was like, it's the only one that is clean upable, so to speak. Somebody had killed most of the sides. I was like, I could maybe use my gas here.
How did that end up?
It did not end well. I
It
killed your
does
JTR.
it does my heart so much good to hear that. GTR can go die a slow death anyways. I don't care about her.
Uh, did not kill your Ray. It's fine.
Wonderful. Did all of your clones die in one AoE?
No, actually, they didn't.
Hmm.
As soon as one did though, it was like a slow trickle, and I was like, this is not we're not in for a good ride here.
This will not end well.
Yeah, I was like, this is not gonna go well.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually used same as you, except way different. I used my General Skywalker team to kill a full Ray team
Right.
for 20. I didn't even lose fives.
All right, fine.
So it was way yeah. But I mean, so here's the thing, and I don't even want to talk about territory wars that much because we got a ton of other stuff to talk about. But
Mhm.
um, I this bugged me the most is so I never look at my own guild's defensive setups. Like I'm just like, okay, I'll deploy my stuff and I don't want to be bothered by territory wars. And when I went in to attack, like I was scouting for my Professor X account to attack, I was like, okay, we got to find some accounts that aren't that, they're missing a datacron, they're like lower gear on a couple things, whatever. And so everyone in my big guild, in my
Mhm.
main accounts guild, has big. They all have big rosters, and I was shocked. I think I counted 12 of them that didn't even have datacrons on them. 12 Ray teams without datacrons.
See, and that's the thing is like your Datacron, I think, is what stopped my gas from winning because your Ray just kept healing.
Right, all that health steal.
All that health steal, I was like, I cannot kill her. Like she's just too thick.
Yeah, it's wonderful that happened like that. And but no, I here's the thing. I'm not. This isn't me saying you have to have datacrons. You have to play with datacrons or whatever. I,
Mhm.
I don't. I don't care, guys. At this point, like datacrons are a reality in this game. Until they aren't, then whatever. But if you want to, like, just like if you don't want to put mods on your characters, that is totally up to you. If you don't enjoy them, if you really just want to play the game the way you want to, I have no issues with that at all. Uh, but if you're going to be in a top end guild, like we have 500 million GP as a
Mhm.
guild, like maybe put some datacrons on your crap.
Well, it was an interesting war.
It was. Well, and honestly, like, well deserved win by ODB. Like, my Husky Patrol Guild just doesn't care about territory wars that much, and ODB had to work for it a little bit, but you got there. I
Yeah.
guess we got there. I mean, my alt is there, and I killed a bunch of people on my Husky Patrol team. Oh, really? I mean, I should be the traitor here, to be honest,
Yeah,
because I,
you're the
I
traitor. It's not
I
me.
slaughtered so many of my own countrymen
There
on
it is.
on both sides.
See? It's not me. That's the traitor. It's totally you.
No, you are. Anyways, no, I didn't. I'll tell you what, Sarah. There was a couple times I could have targeted your team, and I
Mhm.
decided not to.
That's fair.
Yeah, it is. It's very.
That's fair.
It's kind, but I mean, your teams didn't end up surviving, so I don't know why I did that, but you know,
Yeah, I think I
there's
got a hold on one of them. I don't remember.
I got quite a few holds actually. It's kind of funny on my
Man.
Professor X account. Anyways, so let's talk about
Mhm.
other things. What do we got to talk about today, Sarah?
Um, the new territory battles is live, and we can actually talk about the scaling of the difficulty or whatever you want to talk about with it. We're
Okay.
on we're on day 2 as of recording this.
Yeah, well, yeah, we should talk about that. What else do we have on your half of the show? The half that we go
Ooh.
over to Sarah's channel and talk about.
So there are a ton of viewer questions. Not a ton. There's like 6. It's a decent amount. A pack PSA because we've already reviewed these packs before, but you know,
Saw.
and a roster roast, and there's a character review that may happen here, may happen on my channel. Who knows? We just go all over the place.
We're all over the place. Yep,
And there's
we're
trigger
a mess.
photo. We are a mess.
There is. It's a trigger photo from a guy who didn't actually submit one. Because guys, you're not submitting photos. We have like one candidate that I can use, and I wanted to use the one from Territory Battle. But submit your trigger photos, please.
Yeah. This one it made me a little bit sad to see though.
Really, I laughed out loud when I
It's
saw it.
funny. It's funny when you look at it, but at the same time I'm like, oh, sad.
A little bit. Not really. It's just funny. There's no sad element to it at all.
Oh.
So, Sarah, how do you like
Yeah.
the new territory battles? You are, let me preface it by saying, you are the
Mhm.
territory battle officer for our mutual guild, ODB, and
Mhm.
you are far more active on it than a lot of other territory battle officers, which is great. You're leading from the front. Wonderful. I think it's great.
Mhm.
Um, you've been very I don't know, like very involved in the decision making on like how to maximize stars and stuff. And it seems like there's a lot of hope for us as a community, but I would like to hear more about it from you because frankly, I don't want to crunch the numbers. I just want people to be like attack these things, like sally forth
Right.
and such, and I'll be like, okay, very well. So, how do you like it so far from a territory battle officer's
Mhm.
standpoint?
So I will say last week when we recorded, we didn't have any of the numbers out. Um, like all
Right.
that kind of stuff. So there
We
wasn't
just had
any.
blind optimism.
Right, it was blind optimism. So then the numbers came out, and that's
Wasn't
when
that
we
blind?
that's when we learned like how much platoons slash I guess they're called operations now are worth versus combat missions. So it's a new mindset I'm finding that we have to wrap our brains around of like before with territory battles, you had people who wanted to chase the waves, right? Like they wanted to get the really high waves and perfect combat missions and all of that. And it's like now like the platoons are worth way more than the combat missions.
Right.
So it's actually more beneficial to have platoons done than say chase perfect waves, at least right now. Um, but it is a lot of like once you get the numbers and stuff, it's a lot of going back and forth and tweaking the numbers to figure out what the best plan is. Because I think when I initially saw the numbers, I did a really rough, like rough guesstimate. Um, that wasn't even like optimized. It was like, oh, okay, we'll just deploy and like I won't look at this properly. I'll just arbitrarily do it. And I guessed like 23 stars or something like that. And then I sat down and looked at it properly and it went from 23 to like 26. And then I was like, oh, I could get 27 if I do it this way. And I was like, oh, but if I tweak it this way, I can get 29. And I'm like, obviously assuming certain things are happening with combat missions and stuff like that. But it looks okay so far. So far, like I'm fairly optimistic we're going to be in the 28 to 30 range.
All right, so there were a lot of people, and I mean, I guess this isn't us either, but a lot of people who were saying like, you show me a guild that can, at 200,000 or 200 million
Yeah.
GP who can actually compete in this and actually get any stars that are worth the prizes and stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it I mean, my perception is that CG did make it that like you don't even have to do a combat mission. Like you just
Yeah.
deploy and
If
you get a
if you
bunch of
are
stars.
if you are 200 million GP and you just deploy, you can get 13 stars.
13. Oh, okay. So and 13. How would that compare? Do you know off the top of your head? This isn't really fair me asking this without any research, but is that comparable to what they would be getting in the Geo Territory battle? I'm just curious. I actually don't know.
I don't know. I mean, so this is what I will say is I would assume it is because when ODB was 200 and I think we were 240 or 235 million, we were getting 12 stars in light side territory battle. And
Okay.
at 200 million, you can come into this one and get 13.
Okay. So yeah, I'm really curious. I will say this though. So if your guild is right on the edge, I think you need to take a good hard look at what exactly your guild needs. Because if you're at
Right.
200 million, I think that there's a very good chance that you don't like you almost certainly don't have everyone with cam at 7 stars.
Right.
And maybe you don't have Watt at 7 stars as well. I don't know. Like I'm not trying to insult anyone. It's been a while since I've been in a guild that size. But like look at that stuff, and then also a huge amount of GT2 income that
Mm-hmm.
we got it like for my main account, and I guess for my alt as well, was all the different special missions. Like you generate a
Yeah.
lot actually, and like that's not a negligible factor as well in my opinion. So like look and see what your guild needs, because if you're jumping in with the 200 million guild, my guess is that you don't have like all 50 accounts ready to do the Riva mission.
Right. Exactly. So, and 200 million, I should have said this, sorry. 200 million getting 13 stars does not get you to the Riva mission. So you would get
Right.
fewer stars if you did want to get there.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
just
that's something to keep in mind.
just in terms of like just because it's like fun and cool to do the new content might not mean that it's practical or that it's actually helpful to your guild.
Right. Well, and like
So
that's the thing. And I know a few guilds that are gonna rotate. Like they'll only do it during dark side and keep doing light side geo, for example, for cam specifically. Like because it is gonna be a faster way to get cam shards. To have your guild earn if you're in a guild that's earning a
yeah.
fair amount of them. But yeah, I think it's definitely dependent on the guild of what you need, what you can contribute. And then also like if you're able to get more of those characters to relics, then you're gonna do better in the new territory battle, right? Theoretically.
In theory. um so what do you think about like so on day one
Mhm.
like I shouldn't say everyone, like I mean, people who have optimized their roster to use datacrons, so a lot of Relic 5 kind of things.
Right.
Like even my alt, like people right around 8 million is my guess, 7 to 8 million GP, like
Mhm.
the and above, like everyone in that range, which obviously isn't even like a ton of people, but they can do their attacks on phase one, but then they get to phase two and the options are severely limited. Like I haven't done my
Hmm.
attacks yet in for Professor X, but I imagine I don't have many, frankly. Like it's
Right.
just like I have a ton of things to do, and then suddenly day two and onward, it's just gonna be like, not so much.
Right. And so that actually was what happened to me was I was like, okay, I need to plan specifically what I'm doing because we're in the way we've loaded the map, we're in phase two. So we're in relic 6 planets for 2 of the planets, and then one of them we preloaded, so we're still doing relic 5 there. The thing that I do like is that in the mix zone, it doesn't have to be light side and dark side on your team. You can go in with a full dark side team, for example, which was great because I was like, today specifically, I could plan to use a full Relic 5 team in the dark side planet that was Relic 5, and then save one of my stronger teams for the mixed zone so that I could use it there instead. Um, so that I could kind of have a little bit of wiggle room that way. So I think that's going to be important is planning out what you want to do beforehand.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it immediately like my Ray team today was like a ridiculously weird Ray team that I would never put together.
Yeah.
I did
You're
get
like
me a wave.
they're all light side.
I was
Yep.
like, you guys kind of work together. Let's see what happens. So yeah, it's definitely interesting in that sense of being like, okay. Well, and I even realized today too, I was like, oh yeah, I can use my CLS team minus Chupio. And then I was like, just kidding, CLS is still Relic 5. Can't do that. So
Sorry, I just judged you a tiny bit, and then I
you did.
stopped.
But
Well,
it's things
my
like that where you think you're like, oh yeah, there's Han, there's Chewie. Like I'm like, I'm good to go. And then you're like, oh yeah, I don't have that one piece.
right. I mean, I'll have to use like a dash on Chew team is what I'll have to end up doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that like just the shift from 5 to 6 because that's like the line, right? Like up till now, Relic 5 has been the thing you strive for. Like you don't you're like, oh, sometimes I need 7, and rarely you want, like Galactic Legends or people who are like Fennec or Cam, people who just hit extra hard. You're like,
Hmm.
yeah, I could maybe spare an extra relic level for them or whatever. I mean, I say that even as my alt just is like never puts relic 8 on anything. It doesn't have to. Much less
Soon.
relic, much less relic 9. I know Cassian's like, nah. I'm like, I'm still not gonna use you, bud.
Hmm.
But no, I do use him. That was a lie. Uh, no, but like 5 was the line up till now. It was like that's the high water mark, and like you don't have to worry about more than that. And then you get to relic 6, and I'm like, well, Chewie I think was required at relic 6, so I think I can do Han and Chewie.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
um, and eventually I'll have access to 3PO because he's part of the Jabba requirements. So he'll get to relic 7.
Yeah. So it's interesting. What I also like, um, and this also kind of ties into what I say about like tracking your like I track my teams. So I have given names to all of the combat missions in each phase or planet or whatever. Um, and I track what I use where and what the outcome is and whether or not I moved mods and what did I platoon and like all this kind of stuff. And what's been interesting with this one is because each planet has different modifiers, some teams aren't working that are working in other areas. So for example, like Jedi Knight Luke lead in phase 1 on the light side planet on Coruscant doesn't work because the clone commander automatically sets everyone's speed to 150. So his leadership is null there, right? Like you're not going to change their speed. But that doesn't exist in phase 2. So,
Yeah, that's interesting.
so like Jedi Knight Luke is more likely to be beneficial in phase 2 than he is in phase 1. Um, and
Ooh,
then yeah, it's just like little things like that where you're like, oh, okay, this worked here but it doesn't work here. And
did you notice the clone commander on Coruscant is dark side.
Yeah, I thought it was weird.
Yeah, like all the other clones were light side, but that one's dark side. And
Hmm.
it's like, well, they're probably in the Jedi Temple, curb stomping Jedi, so maybe not. Maybe not too weird.
It's also like interesting to me to have like on your dark side battles, you're using your dark side squad and you're fighting dark side opponents. Like that's the opposite of what we've been doing in territory battles this last however many years.
Well, been kind of fun to like. I don't know. Like I a little bit appreciate like. So this today Geonosis. I don't know what the difficulty level of the Reek and Nexu have. I don't know if they've tweaked them or anything.
Hmm.
But it's been fun to use these teams that we like. I've never been able to attack the Nexu with my, Supreme Leader Kylo team or whatever. Like it's fun
Right.
to actually just get to use them and, take them out with these random other teams that we never were able to. Like the Reek, it's you just get to take them out. So I really did enjoy that. And it's kind of a nostalgia thing too of like, oh, I kind of miss some of these old, I'm going to miss B1 and B2 a little bit. Like the mechanics there, like
Hmm.
they're like old friends a little bit in some ways, and like we just get a little flash of them. You get Mustafar and you get Geonosis, and then we're probably just going to be off and doing something else. But it's nice to just get to see them a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair. It's just an interesting thing because like you're so used to taking your dark side team in and you're fighting clones or like your clones
Oh,
are fighting
it is weird.
separatists. So you're like, why are my clones fighting clones? Like,
No, I mean you're right. It's a little bit disorienting.
mhm,
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, I pointed it out in my video yesterday, but like Jabba is required. He's required
mhm.
for combat missions for all 6 phases.
Yeah.
He has his own mission, and it's just funny. People are like, "Why are you being so negative?" And or at least a couple people were. And I mean, I'm like, I don't think I was being negative. I was just it's just a little bit funny to me. Like he's not. I wouldn't say that he was really that important to the rise of the empire, frankly.
Right. It's just like an interesting person that you're putting into this slot.
Right. Okay. Real quick though, let's talk about the little nodes. Can you actually go
Yeah.
into the
Into the map.
territory battle? Yeah. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of these trigger photos. Yeah. So can you just go to like a platoon? Go to one of the things that shows the platoons, because that you can click on one. Oh, actually, back out a little bit. And what I want to see is, I want to see the map here. Okay, here.
The full
Let's.
map.
Oh no! I want to see the zoomed in platoon map because then we can see the dark areas on it. Is what I want to see.
Ah, I
Yeah,
see what you
like
mean.
this thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. So like the dark brown or the light brown here is like the path that we would normally go. Like that's the dark side path, right?
Right. Right.
So we have all these little areas off to the side, like the dark gray areas,
Yeah.
and um, to my understanding, those are the what'll eventually become like the bonus nodes or whatever they're called, right?
That's how I'm looking at it. Like I'm seeing that. I'm being like, okay, those are the pieces that they were saying would be like added and then maybe taken away and then added and whatever.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, they could do some interesting stuff with that. There's no bonus nodes for Sector One, Phase One, whatever it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting too is it looks like some of them, and I don't know, we don't know how we get into them, obviously,
Hmm.
but it looks like some of them can be accessed from either like mixed or dark side, or I mean, maybe not, but it kind of looks that way.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. On the top right, for instance, like the one with the blue. I'm
Mhm.
curious to know if you could access it from day 5 or and day 6, just because it's like kind of
Right.
kind of attached there. I don't know. And there's only one potential bonus node for Sector 5. Not that we'll see, or Sector 6, sorry. Not that we'll be
Hmm.
in, I keep calling them sectors, but like level phase 6 for a long time, but
Right.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. It could be cool. It might be nice.
I'm curious what they're gonna put there, like, because it feels weird to just have one battle in one of those nodes. Because like one of these nodes, we've got 4 or 5.
Right.
So it would, I don't know, it would, oops, sorry. It would just be weird to me to only get uh one battle in one of these grayed out areas.
Well, it's also interesting because if it is on the dark side thing, like
Hmm.
path, then platoons wouldn't necessarily affect that node either.
Right. That's a good point.
So
That's a very good point.
might get weird. Um, Overall, my impressions. Yeah, we don't have much time, but overall,
Hmm.
I think my impression is overall good. I know I gave it a little bit of a slight little nudge toward the like, well, this is silly. Like, why is Jabba here? But I do like having the mixed zone. Like, the novelty of using Starkiller was in territory battles was so fun. It was so cool.
Yeah, I got to use like a full bounty hunter team yesterday. I was like,
Ooh, yeah.
this is great. Like I'm like Grief and Mando are here and it's quite fun.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it also adds some really cool planning things of just like, oh yeah, okay, guys. So make sure that you use your best light side teams on this side, but like dark side's gonna be super easy, so you can use like your really strong dark side teams on in the middle if you need to.
Exactly. So it's definitely, I think, going to take some getting used to. And all of us are kind of, I think most people are treating this week and probably even the second territory battle this month as like an experimental sort of thing.
Yeah,
Just finding what works and what doesn't work. And then I'm sure, I think we're all going to settle into it kind of quickly.
yeah. Just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's all fine.
Everything's fine. All right, so
Mhm.
let's look at the trigger photo real
All
quick.
right.
Okay, so here's BB0 here once
Ah,
again.
poor guy.
All right, so this is pretty on point though. For so my buddy Clash sent this to me, and this was my experience too. In fact, so you get to 2 of 2. You
Mhm.
get through it, and with Dash, it's the young Lando mission, and like he has Ray, and Ray isn't quite dead here, but I mean, Iden just guns everyone down. I would be very interested to know if there's anyone right now who actually lived through this and beat this mission. Um,
Right.
Maybe they did. I don't know. Just because young Lando's there doesn't mean you can't just take like Lord Vader or something.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm curious what it was. That
Yeah.
like if you beat it, how like did you overkill it?
Do you recognize this planet?
No.
So this is a planet called Felucia.
Hmm.
This is the planet where Ayla Secura actually got gunned down in Order 66. So I
Oh.
got a bunch of like big mushrooms. You fight Rancors. This is a place that you play on in The Force Unleashed, actually, where Starkiller is. Like
Hmm.
you have stuff going on. But anyways, um, I just do you think that when they all died, Iden was like, "Bye, Felucia."
Oh no. Just gunning them down. Oh,
Yeah,
sad.
poor. I love the Bando. He's like Clash has a relic 9 Bando. Like he just still just
And just got destroyed.
goodbye. Yep.
Which is nuts because you only need relic 6 for this uh planet.
I know that's pretty sad. All right, so folks, go over to Sarah's channel.
Hmm.
It's probably linked just somewhere here. You can push a button. If it's not, then go to the video description and click on the link to her channel. We do all the thumbs up button on my channel, then go to hers, thumbs up on hers. It'll be a good time. So we'll continue our discussion over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.